Good morning. In this little tutorial, I want to show you a technique for doing a long tail cast on for double knitting that produces a nice, tidy, tight border that secures both sides of the fabric together. This is the technique that Alistair Quinn Post describes in his book in a whole series of photographs. I'm hoping that a little video image will help a little more. So I'm going to use this green and yellow yarn to demonstrate the technique. And it really doesn't matter exactly how you hold the yarn, but effectively what we're going to be doing is a long tail cast on that will use both of the strands at the same time. So I'm going to start by making a slip knot in my and now I'm ready to begin. You can see I've got both strands of yarn coming off of my single cast on needle, and they're running across my hand and over my index finger and around my thumb. And it really doesn't matter at all which color you put on which finger. You just have to be consistent about it. So the technique is a simple one. It's really just a modified version of the slingshot or wishbone or long tail cast on technique. But it has the advantage that you don't have to guess how long a tail to make, and that it ties the edge together as you work. So I'm going to start this cast on by taking the tip of my needle and picking up the bottom, the outside strand that's around my thumb, reaching across, picking up the inside strand around my index finger, pulling through, dropping the strand around my thumb. And then to pick up the other color, reach around the index finger, across, pick up the strand, and snug it up. This becomes a fairly comfortable rhythmic motion, but you do have to remember to alternate colors, and you always have to work from the outside toward the inside, and you have to duck that thumb or finger out of the way to slip the stitch off. Let me describe that once again very slowly. Whoops. Tip of the needle to the outside of the strand around the thumb, pick that up, reach across to the index finger, pick up that inside strand around the index finger, pull forward, drop the stitch off the thumb, and snug up. To follow that, reach around, pick up the stitch coming on the outside, the strand coming on the outside of the index finger, reach across, pick up the inside strand off your thumb, snug it up. You'll notice as you work this pattern that you lose a little bit of the twist in the yarn, just as you do with long tail cast on. And you may want to simply let go periodically and readjust so that you redistribute some of the twist from further down in the yarn. there's a little awkwardness in this. It matters a little bit how you hold the yarn across your fingers. I prefer to work a little bit closer to the ends of the fingertips because it's easier to reach around and pick up that strand on the outside. At this point, I have a knot, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do one more. So I will have 10 stitches. And I need to pick up the yellow strand, so I'm doing that one first. And a green strand. So now we have 10 pairs of stitches plus the knot that we added at the beginning, and we're going to eliminate that, so you don't want to include that in your stitch count. Now we're ready to start knitting, and we'll achieve that by simply turning our work around so that we have the strands leading off to the right hand side, and we'll pick up one of our working knitting needles and we'll begin the process. Exactly what you do from this point forward depends on whether you knit continental style or knit in the throw style that's common in England. So I'm not going to demonstrate that, but I will say that as a general rule, we want to begin every row by slipping the first pair of stitches knitwise. That would be these two. And we want to end every row by purling the final 2 stitches together. And that will produce a nice sort of barber pole style selvage edge. So those stitches at each end, while they need to be part of your cast on, are not part of the stitch count in the pattern proper. Hopefully that was clear to you. You can go back and watch it again. Thanks. Bye.